This episode of Speak Now, Hold Your Peace is brought to you in part by Green Sister Botanicals, plant-based hair and body care. Visit greensister.com for your hair and body care needs. There are a lot of black men, and I know a few that go to the doctor, and their reason for going was because they didn't want to get nagged by their significant other. Got their name on the bottom. You know, it says Nelly, special co-host. Speak Now, Hold Your Peace. Same thing for David. They come on the show. They my number one hitter. Every time there's a shooting, people are saying, you know, we need more gun control.
Welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace, a live broadcast with real conversations about community social issues, politics, business, health, self-care, and more. We broadcast live on the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace Facebook group and the Speak Now, Hold Your Peace YouTube channel. And now, here's your host, Say What I Feel, Dre.
Welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace, episode 42. And I'm going to bring my girl in here. All right. So I had to bring her in, you know. Ray, what's up?
Hello.
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing great, amazing. How about yourself?
I'm doing good.
Let me get centered. I'm all off to the side.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good. So welcome to Speak Now, Hold Your Peace, everybody. And today we're going to be talking about, you know what? Oh, what did I forgot? There's something I forgot. You know what? I'll remember. But anyway, today we're going to talk about, you know, the new year. We're going to talk about relationships, finding yourself, healing. I added one, trust. I think that's something that we need to talk about. You know, make some changes. Let me just, Happy New Year. That's what it was. All right, y'all. So Happy New Year 2022. And it's a new year, new goals, new ways of looking at things. And today we're going to talk about that. And, you know, Raeven called me and said she wanted to do something. And it was funny because I was thinking the same thing. So I jumped on that right away. And that's why she's here. So I'm very happy that you're here. I'm glad that you came on. Raeven's been on here for about 3 shows, I think. So, you know, and she's going to be coming on here probably a lot more because, you know, I'm down with whatever she wants to do. You know, I'm real open to people who, you know, want to do something, you know, have a show about a specific topic. Just let me know and I'm down. I'm pretty much down with it. So, Raeven, let me ask you this. I told him why, but let me ask you in your own words, why did you want to do this show?
You know what? So I've been going through it in the love department. Okay. Venus is in retrograde right now. If anybody's into the stars and the skies and the alignments, I'm definitely into it. And this Venus retrograde, it's all about love and harmony, finding peace, balance. And I've been struggling through that. Mm-hmm. But in the midst of that struggling, I'm finding out so much about myself that has been hidden, been covered. And I just said, you know what? I was in a moment of meditation recently, and I said, it's just amazing the love that some of us seek on that outside, that external validation that we really should be giving to ourselves.
Right.
Man, it's been crazy in that love department.
So, and I'm gonna say this to everybody who's watching, and you too. Some of these questions I'm going to ask, and some of the stuff we'll talk about, some of it's going to refer to you, and some of it's just going to refer to people in general, in terms of people who want to change themselves and make I'm just going to say a better you.
Yes.
So in saying that, what do you think? Let me just see. How can I put this? What do you think? Let me put it this way. One of the biggest challenges, right, in the changing to making a better you is your way of thinking. Do you agree with that statement?
Oh my gosh, Dre, yes. When you really think about what you have been conditioned to learn and process during all this time, and when you really take accountability of what is no longer serving you today and moving forward, the future life that you really want to go for, I think it's amazing. Like you really do have to unlearn a lot of things, and you really do have to change your thought process and the way that you handle things, whether that's how you process your emotions, how you deal with relationships, how you deal with yourself, so on and so forth. It really does start with the way that you think, truly.
Right, right. I know people usually around New Year's, everybody they make their New Year resolutions, and it's
Resolution,
about losing weight, being healthier. Those are the main two that I hear. And changing and having a better you, or being a better you, that contributes to being a better you. But I think there's so much more. Besides losing weight and eating healthier or being healthier, what else do you think for you in general, or other people, what do you think is another more, not more important, but what do you think is another important component to being a better you besides the losing weight and eating healthy?
I think we really got to continue to work on our mental health, especially. Yes, help on the outside with nourishing and fueling your body with better foods, better ingredients, better quality everything. Yes, that's going to be a factor, that's going to be a part of it, but I ultimately think that doing that inner work and really working on your mental, that's going to help to project everything else on the outside. I
Mm-hmm.
think if you even focus on your mental, that would even give you the strength and the energy to want to work out, to want to do better for all the things that are on the outside, right? And yeah, working out is something internally as well. Again, like just thinking about nourishing your body and fueling your organs, but really focusing on that mental health, making sure that your head is straight, your heart is straight, really, really focusing on balancing in those areas for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Um, you know what? This is what I experienced, and I've experienced this too. This is when I say this is what I experienced. This is what I see in others, and I see it in myself sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's not even just for the new year. Sometimes I just get myself pumped up. I used to. Sometimes I fall a little short, but I get myself pumped up. I'm going to do this. I got a plan to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And then
Yeah.
between the time of thinking about it and the time of between the time of thinking about it and it coming to creation in my mind, and 6 months down the line, I lose motivation. What have you experienced that? And why do you think? How do you keep up? How do we keep up with staying motivated? How did you keep up with staying motivated? Because I know you're doing some big things now, and it wasn't
Oh
always like that.
yeah. I fall off. I fall off just like you, Dre, just like anybody else. I lose my momentum. I think it's important if you get to that point. I think it's very important for you to remember your why, but also I think it's extremely important to acknowledge where you're at currently. Rest and reset in that moment. It don't always have to be go 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 so hard and stay on the course, stay this, stay that. Sometimes you do need to fall off. Sometimes you need to take a step back and think like, okay, why am I doing this again? Am I doing it intentionally? Am I doing it the way that I really truly foresee myself doing this? Am I just getting by? I think it's okay to fall off as long as you analyze where you're at and, eventually get back on that course. Don't stay down. If you fall off,
Sorry,
don't stay off.
got to get rid of that. Sorry. But yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. So everybody has their expectations for this year, this new year, 2022. We're gonna get right. We're gonna do this. We're
Oh
gonna do
yeah.
that. What are your expectations?
Oh man, it's the year of Raven, friend. This is the year of Raven. This is really the year of me really getting to know me at my core. A friend asked me the other day, she said, get to know yourself and just like, how do you like your eggs? What activities do you really like? What do you really like to do? And I said, I think that's gonna be really exciting and something I'm definitely focusing on. What makes Raven happy? What drives me? What nourishes me? And really tap into my own needs. I have a habit of looking for it externally without even being aware of it. And now that I'm aware and knowing that I don't want to continue to further that habit, I'm really making it a priority to make sure that I'm fueling my own self. I'm nourishing my own self, and I'm really, really getting to know me and loving me at my core this year.
Right, right. How do you plan your own? How do you plan your goals for the new year? You like write them down, or just like I do a vision board. But how do you do it?
So you know what? I'm actually planning on doing a vision board.
Wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we gotta say what's up to your cat.
Tiggy.
Because look, let me tell y'all something real quick. If you go to Raeven's YouTube channel, and you watch a couple of videos, it's not gonna be right unless if you see the cat.
Without Tiggy.
Yeah, because and Tiggy has a mind of his or her. Her own. And I think she does understand what Raeven is saying, because sometimes she'll be like, get out of here. You see me doing the video, and all of a sudden you don't see Tiggy anymore. So big shout out to Tiggy right now. I had to stop and, and say that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Girl, they're showing you love. Come on. Oh, now she don't want to be bothered. Now she don't want to be bothered.
Now you on the spotlight. That's how we doing it, Tiggy? Okay.
That's how it be. That's how it be.
All right.
Hey, what you swatting me on the head with your tail? Dang.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you. What was I saying?
Good. We were talking about the vision board. I was actually thinking about making one. I was really thinking about sitting down and making one even after the podcast, because it's already the 5th. I'm like, girl, you about 5 days late. There really ain't no rush though. You can do that anytime. There ain't no rush. I do like to do vision boards. I like to meditate on it, on what my goals are, write them down. The thing about writing them down is I feel like I tend to kind of lose paper, or in my notes in my phone, I tend to lose it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's best for me to just really keep my eye on the prize, literally and figuratively speaking, and just kind of keep it like envisioned in my brain. But really, I do like to be somewhat visual with it. And so, yeah, I do like to do vision boards, even if it's throughout the year or at the beginning of the year, end of middle, whenever. Right. I think that's been the most helpful for me. And also it's something to kind of relay back to, having a vision board. But another thing is I journal. I journal as often as I can. So, just whatever mood I'm in, however I'm feeling, write down my goals. And that gives me another way to kind of keep myself held accountable and look back at my progress at the same time.
Okay. All right. That's pretty deep. That's good. That's good. Let's steal some of that from you. All I was doing is a vision board, and all the rest of it was in here. And that's probably why sometimes I lose the motivation or forget that I'm supposed to be doing this. And
you forget when you don't see your visions. Yes, it's easy to forget. But when you have something to relay back to and say, where am I at now? Where did I want to be at this time? And where am I at now? I think it adds like a whole new kind of momentum.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes is what the strive is, to like keep going when you're able to track your progress.
Right. And it's funny, because if you ask some people, the average person, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be at in 5 years? A lot of them will sit there and think about it. And I don't think they think about the big picture. Like, they'll say, well, I want to be making more money at my job, as opposed to some people saying, well, I don't want to work. I want to be my own boss. So it's just like some of them are looking at the short term, thinking it's long term, when, sometimes, they should just be thinking a little bit bigger than that. So that's interesting. That's interesting in terms of writing down what you want to do in life, stuff like that. Let me ask you this. Now, I want to talk about trust. That's the one I added to this. So trust is huge, man. So part of being a new you is for 2022 is new ways of thinking, new friendships, personal and professional, and trust. Now I think that's a key thing. Trust is a key thing. Do you find yourself? Do you find it hard to trust people?
Not necessarily. For me, everybody's pretty innocent until proven guilty. Okay. I will say that we all have a certain level of discernment that I think we need to really zone into. I think, all of us have that gift, and we should really be aware of that. Our intuition, when a situation or a person, place, or thing just feels a little off, or a little misleading. But ultimately, I don't really think I have. On the surface, I don't have trust issues. Now we're getting real deep into the stuff, and we talking about going deep into relationships. I got some trust issues there.
Yeah.
Definitely. You talking a good game, and you showing up in certain actions once it kind of gets a little deeper in time. Friendships, romantic relationships, there are some trust issues when it starts to get deep,
Right.
for
Right.
sure.
And that's one of the things, that's one of the next questions, like in terms of relationships. So I know not the last time, but the first time on the show, you shared your domestic violence story, which was just so deep. You and two other ladies, strong ladies. Um, with that, in relation to the domestic violence, um, do you have a hard time figuring out who's real and like what's real and what's like, like, I don't know, it could be game. You know what I'm saying? Does that
I feel you.
bother
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel you. I have a little bit of a problem with that, but I'm working on unlearning that, because at the end of the day, no matter who I come across in my life now and moving forward, is not who I dealt with in my past. It's
Right.
not the ex who had me jumping out the window to save my life because he's coming after me. Whoever ends up in my life, past or I'm sorry, not past, present or future, it's not him no matter what, and it's not that situation no matter what.
Right. Right.
So I have to be mindful of that. But past traumas and experiences definitely have me side eyeing potential partners,
Mm.
especially partners where I know this is so bad to say, but especially when somebody is a little too nice, because I
Mm-hmm.
dealt with that.
Right.
The gaslighting and the love bombing, really the love bombing, throwing a lot of affection and whatnot very, very rapidly. But now I can look at that and say, this ain't it, Chief. Don't be falling into that.
Right. Right. And that's tough, man. And it makes the next guy who's being genuine, it makes it very hard for him to break through that wall. But you know what? I think, if they're truly genuine, they'll keep coming and be consistent. And over time, you know, after a certain period of time, you start putting your guard down and putting more trust into that person. And that's just for
Yeah,
anybody, you know what I mean? So definitely, gotta, just be aware and just keep your guard up to make sure it's real. You know what I'm saying?
definitely.
Um,
Definitely. I think it's okay to protect yourself, but you don't have to be cold or
mm-hmm.
completely closed off, because then you miss out on a lot of connections. And that, I mean, to be truthful, that is a trauma response.
Right.
Being wanting to be very sheltered and so protective that you won't let anyone in. I think it takes a lot of time. And therapy has helped me tremendously. But I think it takes a lot of time and awareness in order to even get to that point.
Right.
I think when you meet the right people, they'll understand that, and I think if they're the real ones in your life, they're gonna extend that grace and compassion to you. They're not gonna make you feel like you're difficult or troublesome. And I think that as survivors, that's a lot of times what we think is that we're being bothersome because we're paranoid. A lot of us have PTSD, and you still have nightmares and visions from the past, so it can be very hard to move forward with someone and be trusting. But I think knowing internally that your past is your past and you really have to leave it behind, but not everyone's ready to do that either. It's not
Right.
an easy thing. I'd be lying if I said it was. That's not an easy task to recognize what happened and leave it where it is, especially when you come from an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to tell a survivor, like, I think when you say to leave your past behind, it can come off as triggering. It can come off as get over it, and
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
really the case.
Right. Right. And I'm be honest with you, when I when my me and my wife, she was my fiance at the time, in college, when she would come home to my where I lived at and meet
Mm-hmm.
some of the people, and she would tell them that we were getting engaged, and their reaction was like, to him. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't the best person. I ain't do nothing like too like criminal or nothing like that. Just just badass Andre. Even as a little kid, I come down this come down the street, and all the kids would just disappear. because their
You are a
past.
menace.
Yeah, that's a good one. It was like a Dennis the Menace bad,
You
right?
are a menace.
And it's just like, you know, that the who I was in the past makes me who I am today. Like, even though I'm not that, if it
Yes.
makes sense, even though I'm not that person anymore, it's part of me. So without that, it may be a different result. Without me being who I was before, I could be vulnerable. I can just be so in denial of certain things. I'm street
Mm-hmm.
smart, and if I didn't go through all that stuff I did as a kid, I wouldn't be street smart. I know I wouldn't be street smart. Like,
Right.
somebody walking up
Right.
around, somebody driving past you 5 or 6 times. Yeah, I know what's up. Like,
Right.
you're about to do what you're about to do, but I know, you know what I'm saying. So, I think whoever you are in the past, there's no way I think you should forget about it. I think you need to embrace it and just know that it's part of you, and it
Yes.
was like a puzzle, a building block to get you higher and higher. And when you get to that point, it's just like, okay, I needed that block to help me get where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it's
I
funny
was
that
talking to
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was talking to a friend earlier, and she was saying how when you got the caterpillar, and then when they're in the cocoon and everything melts
Mm-hmm.
down and then it grows into a butterfly. And we
Right.
were saying how we might have the wrong information, but it sounds good what I'm about to say, that there's still like remnants of like that butterfly in the
Yep.
cocoon, like some wingspan or something of that gets left behind, even a
Absolutely.
little bit. So you don't
Absolutely.
fully neglect it, you don't fully ignore it, you don't completely just live life without your past. But I think that there's certain things that if they're not addressed, it can really damage your future. It
Right.
can it can alter your future in ways that aren't gonna serve you the best.
Right.
So it's like don't just drop it, forget it, and be like, okay, I'm brand new, I'm moving on, we're going towards the future. It's like whatever was happening in your past, I agree. I think you should acknowledge it and address it. And if you're adamant about bringing it into your future, bring it like make it better, make it a part of like a learning lesson. I speak so much on my past because I know that it will empower women today, it'll fuel and motivate women today, it'll teach them lessons that I've learned, so hopefully they don't have to go through it, or if they are going through it, they have a different perspective. I'm such a home girl, so down to earth, don't mind sharing, it comes out a little bit differently than if you go into like some entrepreneurial speaker mentory whatever, somebody on a much higher platform.
Right.
So yeah, but no, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
no,
no, that's
I
fine. And
agree. I
I
agree.
think
Address your past.
I agree. Like, even with what you said about the way you tell a story compared to some entrepreneurial speaker or whatever, I think people are more comfortable with with people who are. I'm not saying the professional people that do that type of speaking is not effective, but I think I would feel more comfortable with somebody who's just like keeping it real, like just
Right.
you could feel that in people. So I felt it when I first saw your story on YouTube. I was just like, okay, she keeps it 100. I can tell.
Right.
I'm not good with a lot of stuff, but I think I'm pretty good and with people, picking out good people and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? But just like 10 minutes ago, you mentioned about therapy. And I know, you always say, you got
Oh
the
yeah.
therapy. Let me ask you this. How important is therapy in becoming a new you for 2022?
Oh my god, man. Therapy gives you tools and words that piece together things that I've felt and been realizing I just didn't know how to articulate it. And
Hmm.
therapy gives me such a safe space to speak on these things and find the words to articulate myself. Find almost a label or a terminology for something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so important. If nothing else, you need that unbiased opinion. I know I say that every time, but you need that unbiased opinion that's not a friend that's going to, try to come to your defense or tell you what to do because they're your friend. You need somebody who is really, truly unbiased, who can guide you into making better decisions for your life. And not that a friend can't, but sometimes the stuff is so deep and so heavy, a friend can't. They may not have the tools or the capacity to give you what you really truly need, that you may not even know that you need until you get it out in therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of us, we recognize our parts of our shadow self that's like, oh, I might be lazy or indecisive, or yeah, I might be this very, very surface things,
Mm-hmm.
very surface. I say it's shadow work, but also it's just like that stuff from the surface. Like I procrastinate, that's like, okay, anybody can say that. But what
Mm-hmm.
about I tolerate unhealthy relationships. I have abandonment issues. I have childhood trauma. And you might think, like, oh, I had the greatest, perfect childhood. I thought that. And now I realize I really got some inner child stuff to work on.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I cannot say I had a bad childhood, but there's a lot of traits and a lot of habits that are affecting me now as a 29-year-old adult that stem from when I was a little bitty baby girl that I had no idea about until
Hmm.
literally just recently.
Really?
Learning something new all the
Wow.
time. Always
Wow.
learning something new about myself. Just like, wow, the way I think, the way I process things, the way I deal with relationships, the kind of relationships I seek out is,
Hmm.
man, that therapy, boy.
Yeah.
I'm itching for my appointment next week.
I was about to say, it sounds like you getting your money's worth. Like,
Woo, man, she's the bomb. I go to a lady named Shanae here in Omaha, Nebraska, and oh, Shanae is bomb.
wow.
Anyone I've referred her to is like, thank you. I finally found the right one. I
Wow.
got lucky. She was one and done. I got lucky. I've only had a therapist one other time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I got so lucky when I decided to really take it seriously 2 years ago. One of my good friends, Kevin, referred me to her, and the rest is history. Like, haven't had to go
Wow.
seek out anybody else ever since.
Wow. Does she do like virtual counseling, like through Zoom or anything like that?
I feel like she wanted to add that on.
Okay.
I don't know if she offers it now, but I feel like that's something that she has been wanting to work on.
Okay, yeah, because I'm thinking if anybody's watching, y'all want to,
Yeah,
get some information,
she is
figure it out, see if y'all can get in
so good.
contact with her. Make me
Yeah.
wanna call her. Because like
I'm a,
you said, people think they all right, and until you get to therapy and they start asking you questions, and you just be like, I don't know why I do this. There's some things that I do, like especially like the cleaning, and like sometimes I'll be cleaning the house. I'm always like, my wife be like, you OCD. I'm like, nah. Like, and then she's like, it stems from your childhood or something like that. Like, and I realized, I think it did, because I remember as a kid, people would come over the house and I would always clean up before they came. You know what I'm saying? So it was important to me to move this and move that. Not so much cleaning, like scrubbing, but just placement. Moving the clothes.
Yes.
So
keeping it tidy.
yeah, I didn't realize that stemmed from being a kid. Like, doing that as a kid. I'm like, now, sometimes I get lazy, but I used to be like vacuuming floors and keep putting everything in, not like in place, but just tidying up. That's a good word. Tidying up. So yeah, that's interesting. Therapy brings out so much, that you don't even know. It's just like,
yes.
everybody who don't think they need it, just try it. That's what I say. Try 2 sessions, and I guarantee you there's going to be something. If that therapist is halfway decent, I say 3 sessions at most, that they're going to get into something that's going to make you be like, like, you know what I'm saying? So interesting.
It's to the point. It's honestly to the point to where I was dating someone and they were referred to a therapist by their doctor mainly to deal with anxiety. They went to one appointment and they know I'll share my therapist information, and they know my therapist, is going to keep it all the way confidential. Just because we know each other and date, don't mean we're going to be talking about each other's sessions during my appointment or or their appointment. But they were supposed to go back and they decided not to. And even in that moment, I said, the choice is yours. But I know that mental health is so important to me. If you're not ready to give it a chance, I wish you well, but I don't think that's somebody that I could grow with.
Right.
And
Right.
it's no shade to them, but it's like if there's things that you have spoken on and you know you want to work on, and yet you would rather be set in your ways, you would rather admit that your ways ruin relationships, it's altering our relationship, so on and so forth. You're just not ready to do the work. That's
Mm-hmm.
okay, but you can't be over here because I'm doing my work and I'm more than ready to embrace it. And that's not to say I can't be friends or anything with anybody who doesn't go to therapy. It's just for me, it's like I think that you recognize a certain level of maturity in that person, a certain level of accountability. And I think that is something that I'm more attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who wants to be held accountable and somebody who wants to work on their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, who wants to be better.
Yep. Iron sharpens iron. You know, it's just one hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face. So that's something y'all gotta you gotta do together. You just just can't
Right.
can't be you because
Exactly.
if you're up and that person is down or vice versa, it ain't balanced, which means somebody gonna get worn out and burned out
Mm-hmm.
trying to hold everybody down. So, good point. Very good
Exactly.
point. So I want to get into healing. Okay. So being a new you for 2022, most people being a new them. A lot of people. Do you think one of the steps is forgiving yourself for your actions? Because like here's the thing. Like I sometimes like people like what holds them back is that they're too hard on themselves and they won't forgive themselves for things that they've done or things that they might have said or hurt others, not
Mm-hmm.
intentionally. But do you think that's one of the things that people need to do, just to become a new them as part of being a new
Mm-hmm.
them as
You
far
took the
as
words right out my mouth.
mm-hmm,
Yep, you took the words right out my mouth. And it's something that just kind of hit me recently. It's something I talked my therapist and I talked about. She said, "Have you really forgiven yourself for your past or like decisions that you made and the time that you thought you needed to make that choice?" And I noticed I hadn't. And I even was thinking yesterday, I'm like, wow, it's amazing how God, like our creator, loves us so much, and yet we still seek external validation. How God never judges us and is never critical of us, but yet we are so critical of ourselves and we judge ourselves so much. I think it's so important to forgive yourself. A lot of us, we make decisions that we make in the time that we're only going to be this old today. We don't know how to live life besides to just live life. There's no rule book. You can't call up yourself at like 60 years old and be like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? You have to just trust yourself that you're making the best decision that you are within that time with the tools that you have, the knowledge that you have. And if it didn't work out, you learned a lesson. And I think it is so important to forgive yourself. You are only human. We all just here having a human experience trying to figure this stuff out.
yep, absolutely,
There there ain't no set way to go through this life, and we are all going to figure out our lessons, whatever that is for us. Everybody's path is not the same. But
right,
when you go through that path and you learn that lesson, take it and apply it to whatever's lying ahead of you, what's going to come forward from this. But oh man, I think
mm,
we really beat ourselves up and we judge ourselves and we lack trust within ourselves so much. And that's really something that we, as people, we really got to work on that.
yeah.
That's
I think we need to lift each other up.
It'll hold you
It,
back,
it,
man. It'll hold
yeah.
you back. It'll have you judging everybody else and look and not making friends and connections and not wanting to be in relationships or getting into bad friendships and relationships because you're
Mm-hmm.
judging everybody else for what they're doing and not, worried about yourself,
Right.
focusing on yourself.
Yeah. And another thing, if you look at yourself as not being important, or you look at yourself to the lowest level of existence, then you start to attract those type of people. So like you
Mm-hmm.
just said, you attract these people, and then next thing you know, your circle is going to be either level to you or even lower, because
Mm-hmm.
it's your way of thinking. So I think that's that's part of the healing. You just gotta just forgive yourself and move on.
Absolutely.
you know Make a
When you
mistake
lack
and move on.
trust, yeah. when you lack trust within yourself and you judge yourself, you really start to project. And so you start calling out people, oh, you don't do this, you don't do that. You probably don't either. And
Yeah.
it's projection.
Exactly. Yep.
Whatever you looking at and somebody else is wrong, it's probably going on with you too.
Right. So
and
let
if
me.
It's not happening currently. It's probably some issue that needs to be addressed.
I honestly, yeah. I think it happens to a lot of people. A lot of people be like, "Oh no, it ain't happened to me." Yes, it did. Stop.
Yes, it did.
Stop.
It did.
That's like saying, "Oh, when I get in the shower, I never get wet." Yes, you do. It's automatic. Like, stop saying that. Like, for real.
Yep.
You know?
Uh-huh.
Like, I never seen nighttime before. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You know what I'm saying? Just stop. But anyway,
exactly.
I'm gonna switch up just a little bit, and I want to. If you're not comfortable with answering this, you don't have to. But let me ask you this. I know. Remember once when you were on the show, you let us know that at one point you broke your back. You fractured your right foot. You said you fractured your foot, and
yep. Uh-huh.
And something with the other foot. Something.
My left foot has foot drop, nerve damage.
The nerve damage. That's right. Do you with that? Because it's not something that's gone or whatever. Well, your back is healed. Your foot is okay, but the nerve drop that doesn't really go away. Do you find that as a constant reminder to be a better you? That like it doesn't make you stronger? Because some people it's just like they let it hold them back. They'll feel sorry for themselves.
Right.
Do you find that as like a constant reminder you to make you stronger, or does it sometimes bring you down?
Sometimes I'll be honest, and sometimes I do get a little irritated by it. Sometimes I do think like, man, I would never have any of this happen if I would have never jumped out that window. But I have to stop that right there because I did the best decision for me in that moment. Like I said, that guy was coming after me and I have no weapon to defend myself. And even if I did, he is 3, if not 4 times my size. And the weapon that I had, I don't know. Just saying, I ain't trying to go there, with legal stuff. I ain't trying to go there, but all that to say, I really made the best decision for me in that moment. And this is the result. I think the fact that I survived it and the fact that I can walk and talk and move around, and I'm starting to be able to like run a little bit and just like really, really get back on my feet. Oh man, it's like the fact that I survived that makes me feel like I'm never saying that I deserved it, but at the same time, 2 things can be right at the same time, right? I didn't deserve that, but everything also happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I always use my story and my experience when it's an appropriate time, when the time presents itself. And
right.
It's always used to push my own self, and then that naturally projects onto other people, especially when I talk about it on social media platforms. But it gives me a moment to check myself and be like, dang girl, you a bad bee. Like, I can't believe if you bounce back from that, Raeven, you bounce back from anything.
Yeah.
Do you hear me? Anything. Because the way that this could have gone, oh man.
Yeah.
Could have gone so many ways. But the fact that I'm here is like, don't just sit in the sadness of it. Like, take this time, and that's why I made my YouTube video. Take this time to share my story. Hopefully it can prevent somebody else from going through that.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody is going through that, maybe this can be like a little what they say, heard through the grapevine, or message from a dove, like, hey, we're kind of relatable. We the same age. We're this, that, whatever, some type of like relatability. It's like, girl, I done been through it. This is my outcome. Don't do it to yourself.
Right. And I admire you. Like, honestly, I've told you that before, but I admire your strength, your motivation, because a lot of people can't get up on it and in front of, a lot of people can't talk about it, period. Right. But for you to talk about it, first, they can't talk about it, period. They can't talk about it to others. That's all right. They can't talk about it, period. They can't talk about it to others. And they damn sure can't come on in front of a camera and talk about it to who knows how many people and people they don't
Right.
even know. So I think that was just a boss move right there, and it
Thank
deserves
you.
a lot of applause. It deserves a lot of accolades, like congratulations, because not everybody can do it. And then to do all of that, and then you tell a story. When you tell it, and I don't know what you're thinking in your mind or how you feel when you go off camera, but when you're on the camera and you were telling that story, you was just like, you seemed unbothered. And not that you have to be unbothered, but some people, they get emotional talking about it, and that's a normal thing. Some people get
Yeah.
emotional when they're off camera after they tell a story, but the way you were explaining it was just like, man, I was like, yo, she's strong as hell, like to go
Thank
through that.
you.
You know what I mean? And like, I'm spending time, and I keep saying this, but you just something to be proud of. Like, it's definitely
Thank
something to be
you.
proud of. So,
I'm
um,
learning. I'm really learning that to give myself more recognition and give myself more pats on the back than I do. I'm really learning to do that, to celebrate myself and my accomplishments.
right, right, yeah. Because if you seen somebody else do what you did, you'd be like, yo, you the bomb. Like, you do,
Right.
it's just like, for you just like, oh yeah, I did it. Just like with me, like, like, and I'm not like trying to blow myself up, but even with me, I didn't even graduate high school. Wind up going to college, then wind up getting my degree, then getting a master's, and I'm working. I still got to get my doctorate. And I'm a couple classes short, but it's just like,
Wow. You're amazing.
it's just like,
Amazing.
I don't look at it like as a like. I mean, now I do, but for a while it wasn't like, oh, dang, Dre, you're amazing, or that's off the chain. You did it. It's more like, oh, okay, yeah, I did it. But then if I would have seen somebody else do that, I'm like, yo, you
Mm-hmm.
got a lot to be proud of. And, we don't see ourselves like that. We see it in others, but we don't see it in ourselves
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. So I'm
Go
starting.
back to that judgment. It
Mm-hmm.
goes back to
It's
that judgment,
that
and we are our
self-judgment.
own worst critics.
Yeah.
For everybody else, we'll clap, we'll clap, we'll clap, and then when it comes to ourselves, we'll be like, "I'll clap when I'm impressed."
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And we do some impressive things and don't take nearly enough time to celebrate our own accomplishments.
You're
But
right.
a celebrity will post a TikTok, and it's like, "Oh my God, amazing,
Uh-huh.
iconic,
Yep.
legendary."
Yep. And it's funny, that's in everything. You cook some food, people try it. Oh, this is good. Yeah, that's all right. You have a good basketball game. You good game, good game. No, I did all right. You scored 70 points, dude. Like, you did all right. Like, it's just people, like, we just our own
Yeah.
toughest critics. You're right. You're
It's
absolutely
that
right.
conditioning too. It's that conditioning. That guy that I was seeing, I made enchiladas like a month ago, and I was putting my foot into them things, boy. And it's like, how hard is enchiladas, right? But I really was just taking the time to cut the chicken, season the beef, like really just doing it intentionally, knowing that it was gonna be bomb. So to watch somebody, like you said, clear a plate, it's just like, I did that.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yep. That's right. I know that's right. Shoot. Everybody, give yourself some credit for what I just
That's what
said.
say.
All
Give
y'all.
yourself. Yes.
Just think about
Yes.
one thing tonight. I want
Yes.
all y'all to think about one thing tonight that you did that was amazing,
Mhm.
and give yourself credit for it. That's all I want you to do. So I want to stay on healing, and a lot of us lost loved ones this past year. We lost friends, we lost opportunities. And that's something we got to heal from too. So what do you think would be the first steps in doing that? I know it's not a one size fits all. Everybody's different, but just in terms of just the first step, what do you think, in your opinion, would be the first step to healing from stuff like that?
I really would say that if you are experiencing grief, any form of sadness, whatever your emotions are, know that it's okay to feel it out. I think especially with feelings of grief and sadness, we try to like work it away, smoke it away, drink it, whatever, eat it away. We'll try to do so many things to suppress that emotion versus acknowledging it and embracing it. But if you don't know how to acknowledge it, it's difficult to embrace it. If you don't know what you're feeling, how are you going to process it? I think really just acknowledging exactly what it is that you're feeling and being okay to sit with it. It's not going to be comfortable. It's not meant to be comfortable. But
Right.
if you can really tap into it and sit with it, get to know that emotion and how you work past that, the next time it happens, because life is going to go on and things are going to continue to happen, good, bad, and ugly. So
Right.
when the next bad thing happens, you'll know how to address it a little better. And then
Right.
the next time, you'll know how to address it a little better. And also knowing that we can't control anything except for how we respond.
Right. Right. That's true. Yep.
Stuff is gonna crash. Unfortunately, people gonna die. Like
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. It's a part of life. But even, you know, when it happens, we're not always gonna feel ready, right? We're not. I don't think we're supposed to feel anything except for what the emotion brings us at the time that it happens.
Right. Right. Rodney, I'm gonna put his comment back up here. Rodney, I went to school with him. He says, "Great show, Markeith Dre. Happy New Year, bro."
Hey.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. He was on the show too. I forgot what episode, but he was on the show too. He's a good resource for underage drinking, helping kids,
Oh, nice.
deterring them from underage drinking. So Happy New Year, brother.
Nice.
Let me ask you this: the decisions we make, like, how do you feel about? And I think we talked about this, but this is just another question that I wanted to ask. How dangerous is in terms of, blocking your healing? How dangerous is the woulda coulda? Like, I should have did this, I should have did that. If I would have did this, then this wouldn't have never happened. Like, how dangerous is that? Like, that way of thinking.
Have you ever seen that movie, The Butterfly Effect?
No, but I'll watch it tonight. Not tonight. I'll watch it this weekend. Because anytime somebody say that,
yes, I think about that movie. I haven't even seen it myself, but I've been thinking about that movie so often because somebody brought it up recently. One of my homegirls, actually, the other night we were talking, she brought it up. But she just brought up how you can have your vision so planned out, and one little glitch in the matrix or one little move can alter any and everything. The thing is that still we have no control. So once it's done, it's been done. You can't go back, you can't fix it and whatnot. And I still go back to that saying that we do the best that we can in the time that it happens. We process and handle it in the best way we can in that exact moment. So it's just a part of the life lessons. You know, it is easy to be like, oh man, I should have did this, I should have did that. Okay, but then something could happen tomorrow, and then what you would have done in the past, it wouldn't even matter. Right. It wouldn't even matter. I think that's really comes from us trying to control so much of everything, right? Mm-hmm. trying to be in power of every little thing about our lives that we can. If you think that you should have done something, well, why didn't you do it then? If you think that you could have, what stopped you from doing it then? I think that's more important to acknowledge. So that way, when the opportunity comes up again, if it does, or whatever lies ahead of you, you have learned the lesson. You learn. All you can do is apply it for the next time around.
Right. Rodney, she's dropping jewels. Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And Raven, tell them, let them know about your YouTube page. Let them know right now because, Rodney, you got to check it out, man. It's cool. Yeah. Let them know. You can go ahead and
my YouTube is like, I call it a virtual girls room. I'm a super girly girl. If y'all can't tell, I do all the hair, the makeup, the nails, all of that stuff. And I really like to just sit at my vanity and talk some stuff, talk about life. I do a little like comedic relief. I'll like do my makeup and review like funny stuff on 90 Day Fiance for some comedic relief. But even that, I'll give like my perspective on the relationship, like what I think might be healthy or unhealthy or just whatever we talking about. I'm like, oh, I think this guy's full of like mess, whatever it is. But yeah, I just like to sit, do my makeup and just vibe, talk about life, love, mental health, everything.
Yeah, and it's funny because I listen sometimes. I mean, I listen because sometimes I'm at work, so the phone is there. Let me show you. So I got one of these things here. Let me
Yes. I
get.
love when you pop in, like when I do lives. I love when you pop in. I'm like, what up, Dre?
Yeah, yeah. I'll be like, okay. So look, I'm gonna make this screen a little bit bigger. I have this here, right? This little thing. So I put my phone here and I listen to her, and she sit there. She's like doing makeup and stuff, and people are walking past, like looking at me, like, why? Because I'm looking at somebody do makeup. I'm listening. I don't be looking because I be typing, but I listen because a lot of the messages are, it's just like, okay, all right, it's uplifting, and sometimes it has nothing to do with anything that has to do with my issue or whatever, but just listening, and it's good. Like it's a good listen. So y'all make sure y'all check out Raeven's YouTube page. It's awesome. It really is. So
thank you. Sometimes I wonder, like, why do I be so inclined to tell people my business? But it's just being vulnerable is my personal superpower.
Right.
I've had so many people come up to me at this point that's like, yo, I watched your video, you shared a story, you helped me get out of an abusive situation, you helped me like decide to go after a job I wanted, I was doubting myself about, or whatever it is that helps them. I think about something a friend and I were talking about, that a lot of things you go through aren't just for your own lesson. A lot of times your lessons are meant to be shared with other people, but it is hard. It is very hard to open up because people are judgmental, like we talked about
yes
a little bit ago. But that's trusting yourself that I feel inclined to speak on this, I feel driven to speak on this. That's the trust in myself in order to do that. I feel like if I wouldn't have trusted myself to hit upload on that video, I would have never met you, any of the guests on this show. You know what I mean? I would have never been able to be a light to other people in that particular way. So go back to trusting yourself.
That's right. So one of your videos I was looking at, I think it was one of your most recent videos, and you were talking about you had decided, you said something about you decided to stop taking hair and makeup clients due to your range of motion. But yet you still rise to the occasion. You rise to the occasion because you got Marie Kirk.
Yes.
You got your own business, Marie Kirk, and you got your wig business. Let me guess, don't say nothing. Giora Lucia.
Giora, yes. Giora,
yes. So it's amazing.
Thank
like
you. That's love. That's love.
So you rise to the occasion. Like you really rise to the occasion. So like what motivates you? What motivates you to just like boss up like that?
Man, first of all, this pandemic, it's like, coming home with that injury and the pandemic, not being able to work, not being able to walk for a little bit. What was I going to do? And so fast forward now, it's like I already had my online business selling cosmetics. I already had that. But it really taught me to take it up a notch, push it to the next level. And I've been in beauty so long. I've been in beauty for over 10 years now. So getting into it, it's such a way to connect with other women and really empower and learn from other women specifically. I can't even see my life without it now. I done tried to get out of beauty so many times and I go right back into it. But because of the changes in my body, I had to figure out a different way where I could still be involved. But I knew I wasn't going to be able to stand for a long period of time. Now I can. Now I can, I do light styling, and now it's like I'm going to rebuild my makeup kit. I didn't think I was going to. Now I'm doing these lash extensions, and that's like a sit down thing, So, but I'm able to just really connect with women, and we talk. We have deep, my clients are coming over here and we have the deepest conversations. Like I've always experienced that, but it's something different about it now, and I'm different now too. So I'm attracting a whole new kind of clientele that I've ever had before.
That's what's up.
And I'm a different artist now too. So yeah, it's like, man, beauty is my thing. That's really my niche in life. I knew that at a young age, just wanting to be creative. I knew that I was going to be some kind of artist, didn't really know what kind. Even my mom thought the same thing. Wasn't really sure. Thought I might be a painter or illustrator or something, but no, that makeup, because it changes the way that people perceive themselves. You start to get a different side of people.
Mm-hmm.
You start to kind of get an openness, certain, like, some people really are vulnerable in that moment because you're taking them from bare everything to, like, bam. It's like bringing out an alter ego
Right.
almost.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, definitely bringing out a whole different persona, but also tapping into who's really inside too. The makeup and the lashes and all that is fun, but what's really going on here? And
Right.
I think I really provide a space where people feel safe and comfortable enough for me to kind of get into them. We may not unpack everything, we on the clock. We only got a certain level of time before I got to clean up and get you out of here and get the next one. But we do what we can and talk about what we can in that time, and it really, really gets deep during
Yeah.
those
And in a way,
sessions.
it sounds like therapy, you know?
Yeah, makeup therapy. I was really thinking about, I'm telling on myself, exposing my ideas, but I don't care, because what's for me is for me.
That's right.
But I'm really wanting to get into like a makeup and mental health series, since I already talk, about stuff and do my makeup at the same time, but maybe just make it more a series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad
Yeah,
I
that's
spoke
what's
on that,
up.
because now I gotta hold myself accountable
Yeah,
now.
well, now I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna hold you accountable to it now. So you should have, if you want to slouch and slack off, you shouldn't have said nothing, damn it, because now I'm gonna be on you about that.
I need that, because I've been slacking off on it for too long, being a little too inconsistent. But yeah, the makeup and mental health talk would be good.
That's what's up. So I'm gonna get you out of here on this last question. Then I'm gonna ask you to give me a final thought. But this last question it refers to that same video, that recent video I saw, that I watched that you did, about being a people pleaser. Now, New Year. If one of those things is like, stop putting other people before yourself, because you yourself need to do for you for once. Stop being a people pleaser and doing everything for everybody else. How difficult is that with people like family? How difficult you think it is with people like family? Like friends, you could probably, even people you don't know or people you semi know, is just like, I think that's kind of not so much of a challenge. But what about your family? Like, you do for your family all the time. They're always calling you. How do you stop being a people pleaser? Or what's your plan to stop being a people pleaser to family, people that rely on you so much?
You know what? I'm dealing with that now. It's so important to set boundaries and stick to them. And I think we've got to stop thinking of the term family as in like somebody who owns you, people who you got to answer to at their beck and call. Humans are humans, and sometimes we're related to these humans by blood. That doesn't mean you're not in a contract with anybody. You're not attached at the hip with anybody. It's important to me to set boundaries with everybody. And I'm not downplaying that. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. I think because as families, sometimes we'll let them do a little more than what we would allow anyone else to do. And we allow them to do a little more to us than what we would do to them, because we know how it affects us and our mental. So I think you got to set that boundary. Seriously.
Right. So setting boundaries is the main thing.
Yes, 100%, and stick to it. Don't be setting it and then, okay, I'm gonna move it over. Okay, well, I'll bend my boundary for you. No, you have it and it's there for a reason, and acknowledge why it's there and be cognizant and remember why it's there, why you felt you needed to set it. Because when you start playing yourself like you're Gumby and bending every which way, okay, are people gonna do that for you? And why are you doing that for them, and why should they do that for you? What's up with all this self-sabotaging and self-sacrificing? Like, what's up with that? So yes, set that boundary, stand firm in it.
That's what's up. So I'm gonna get you out of here on the final thought, which is kind of what you just said, but is there anything else you want to say real quick just before we get up out of here?
As much as I love y'all, don't forget to seek self-love and internal validation. I'm learning. I thought I knew self-love and glamorizing and on the surface healthy relationships and reading and bubble baths and going shopping. No, 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 no. Really tap into self-love. Like I said at the beginning, how do you like your eggs? Tap into you. Make sure that you're your own priority, and make sure that whatever validation you're looking from in other people, that you find it within yourself first. So important. That's my last word.
All right. So that's gonna do it for this show. I appreciate the jewels that you was dropping. You was dropping them. I'm telling you. I appreciate you.
Thank
And
you.
It's a blessing to have you as a friend. It's a blessing to see the things that you're doing.
Likewise.
And even
Thank
you being on here. So it's a blessing. So I thank you for coming on. Everybody else, it's a new year.
Yes.
If you want a new you, watch this episode again and then just make your moves, just make your moves and be a better you. So we love y'all. I want y'all to, just make that move, be a new you and be a better person. Raeven, stay on once we get off, but that's it. We out of here. Love y'all much. Peace. Out of here.
Thank you for watching the Speak Now Hold Your Peace live broadcast. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and join us on the Speak Now Hold Your Peace Facebook group.